Yeah, tonight I've actually got the house to myself. Well, kind of, for a short while. Well, there are three felines sharing it with me right now. My wife is actually visiting a friend who is in the early stages of dementia. She went with a friend of ours and they used to work together, so she's going to see her. So that's where she is, which means I don't have any problem leaving the doors open. There's a little bit of music in the background, but I hope that's okay. Right, with that, what about today's reading? She has called it Disney Princess Dream Yard. Disney Princess Dream Yard. Reverend Kris has called it. Anyway, let's go on. First quote is from Alok, A-L-O-K. I think I found out who this is. There's several Aloks out there, but the one who seems to be the most well-known right now is a poet, comedian, public speaker, and actor, and I believe he's originally, beg your pardon, I must get my pronouns right, they are originally Brazilian. Heaven is a practice, not a promise. Heaven is a practice, not a promise. Which seems fair, but you'll see more as it goes on. And this is Ernest Holmes from What Religious Science Teaches on page 39, paragraph 5. Heaven is not a place, but an inward state of consciousness. It is an inward awareness of divine harmony and truth, which is another way of saying what Jesus said quite often: the kingdom of heaven is within you. The kingdom of God is within you. And this is Reverend Kris, who says, my spouse and I transformed our front yard into a Disney princess dream spot. We feed the birds, squirrels, deer, bugs, and anyone or anything else that stops by. On any given day, our visitors include 6 squirrels, various bees and bugs, 2 deer, and more than 100 birds, including sparrows, cardinals, goldfinches, tufted titmice, ravens, mourning doves, and even a cheeky blue jay. Most mornings, we sit on our front porch with coffee, silently watching the world go by. Probably not in summer here, but anyway, that's another story. We learn so much about this secret world. Squirrels have different fur colors and personalities. Yep. And we named many of them. Birds engage in fascinating rituals, like courtship feeding, where females allow males to feed them until deciding who to mate with. We laugh as we watch male birds compete for the attention of a particularly attractive female. And I'm not sure I would recognize a particularly attractive female bird, but I guess they're doing it by popularity. This morning, despite seeing hundreds of sparrows daily, I noticed a bird with a different pattern and personality. When we looked it up, we discovered a new fox sparrow had joined us. I don't know what a fox sparrow is. I've got to look it up. This morning ritual is a cherished part of my day. By simply observing, I learned so much about these ordinary critters. I discovered that there truly is no such thing as an ordinary creature in the beauty and the creativity of nature. Every moment is extraordinary, and I'm grateful for the chance to experience it through intentional stillness and attention. I'm going to read the affirmation and then come back to it. Through intentional stillness, could be international as well, I connect with the magic of the ordinary, discovering the profound in the everyday. Yeah, our yard is not a typical Woodlands yard. Typical Woodlands yards are pretty neat, orderly. Ours is, I would say, in orderly disorder, if that's not a contradiction of terms. But it does attract different creatures. We get some birds, we get some people meowing. We get some birds, we get squirrels, we get local felines, some of whom we feed, and lots of different creatures. We get the occasional let me see, what, raccoon, the occasional possum, and different things. So yeah, it's pretty interesting. But I guess the whole point of this is that she calls it Disney Princess Dreamride. I won't call her yard that. But what I would say is that both we, my wife and I, and our felines get a lot of fascination out of just looking through the window and watching squirrels racing up and down, sometimes actually racing away from one of the local neighborhood cats that's decided that they're attractive, and seeing the birds come, and also at different times of the year seeing bees and different kinds of creatures. But to me, what this message tells me is that when we look for the beauty in anything, we can find it. There's always beauty of some shape or fashion in everything. You know, it could be the waves crashing on the seashore. You know, to some people, I think that's really fascinating. It can be mountain scenes, which I really like. But the bottom line is that when we stop and start appreciating things like nature, it's much easier to appreciate other things, people, ourselves. So we move from one sort of rhythm into another. We move from one vibration to another. So when we're actually being part of nature, which is what we really are, and as humans, we've kind of distanced ourselves from it, right? When we move back into that nature thing, then our vibration changes. And when our vibration changes, yeah, it changes our mood, and we start to get feeling good. And when we start feeling good, good things start happening in life. So I would say that getting out in nature and forgetting about what's going on in your life right now and just enjoying nature for nature's sake is a truly spiritual experience. And lots of famous people in the past have said so. You know, Henry David Thoreau, for one, and lots of other people have actually gone out and spent time in nature deliberately. Henry David Thoreau spent a year on Walden Pond, just getting away from people and getting into nature. So we can't all do this. If you live in a city, it's harder. There are parks that you can go to. But if you truly live in a place where it's really hard, then you can do what we do sometimes for our pets, is we'll pull it up on the TV, nature scenes. There's lots of nature scenes out there that you can actually watch. So I think, to me, it's all part of the spiritual practice, is really acknowledging and enjoying what's there. And in this instance, it happens to be nature. And it could be really anything in life. So let's start focusing our attention on appreciating what we have, as opposed to worrying and fretting over what we don't have. So that's a good message, right? Through intentional stillness, I connect with the magic of the ordinary, discovering the profound in the everyday. Look for the good and praise it, is what Emma Curtis Hopkins said, and I couldn't put it better. So until next time, I will be saying adieu, with a reminder, Reverend Liz will be on tomorrow morning at about 9:15. I'll be back tomorrow, hopefully at 5 o'clock. There's a lot going on, but I've got a small window and I should be back at 5. And I appreciate you watching these, listening to this. They're not my words, they're other people's words, but they're people who, in a lot of areas, have got a lot more experience than I do. So I get the opportunity, like you, every day to learn something new, even if it's minuscule or it's massive. I get to learn something new every day just by doing these readings. So thank you very much for the appreciation, and until next time, namaste.